Hi and welcome to the Monday Live. I've just come back from the Isle of Wight. I got the 8 o'clock ferry this morning. It was actually 8:15 because there was a lot of fog about. Had to de-ice the van on the way. But here we are, we're back. And I've offloaded the van of the bridge equipment. And then I'm going to go and drop off the tables later. So quite a busy day today. And we're starting a new topic. We are on the advanced losing trick count. So we're looking at the losing trick count basically with a bit of judgment. We were doing slams at the Isle of Wight and we had good fun. I have to say, amazing weather. I think we've all had pretty good weather, haven't we, the last few days? But yes, 4 sunny days in the Isle of Wight. Not only are we in a new month for our Mondays, and our big seminar, we've also got a new topic starting on the Fridays. That is a defence, particularly after trick 1, etc. So in fact, I'll probably start by looking at trick 1 to remind ourselves what that is, and then move beyond that. But we'll take ourselves on a trip through the defensive corridors, which can be quite dark. So we'll try and spread some light. Today, we are going to have the usual suspects, so we will have the 5-level decision that hung over from last Friday, which was a pre-record, and then we will have a bidding quiz at the end as usual, and our little seminar on an introduction to using the losing trick count with judgment, as it were. Notice there will be an assumption that we know the losing trick count, because this is taking it a step further. I think we would have done the losing trick count on the site last year. Probably. It wouldn't surprise me if it was March as well, but there you go. What else is happening? Well, we've got a normal week this week, but Malta is coming around the corner. I'm off to Malta in about 10 days. And in fact, I thought I'd show you an advert for another Malta, which is the same place, of course. But Diane's going there in September because we've got a full party, as it were, a full party going in about 10 days' time. And so you've got the opportunity then to go later in September. Obviously, you'll have seen lots of things about our UK events and our holidays as a whole and cruises. So exciting times. So what are we going to start with? Let's look at the 5-level decisions. Let's get ourselves there. Okay, here we are. You're sitting as usual in the east seat. You are vulnerable and you get an interesting auction. It goes 3 no trumps, double from your partner, 5 clubs. 3 no trumps, alerted as the gambling 3 no trump, showing a solid minor, and very little else. Double from your partner. I don't know, you'll have to tell me what that means. 5 clubs from north. Notice that north, south are non-vulnerable, and you are vulnerable. It is your choice of bid. So we'll have another look at that, so have a think about it. I'm going to do my seminar and then we will look at our answer to that 5-level decision. Okay, so let's get ourselves to the PowerPoint. So here we are. Using the losing trick count with judgment. What do I mean by that? Well, you'll have seen me do seminars on hand evaluation, and in those seminars, essentially I'll say the ace, king, queen, jack, we know are worth 4, 3, 2 and 1, but there is more to the point count than that, and we have to upgrade and downgrade and do all sorts of things, while the losing trick count is similar. It's a great form of evaluation when you find a fit, but using good judgment alongside it can make all of the difference. So I'll go through those 5 points that I make at the beginning of the big seminar, and this is the 5 aspects that I deal with over that seminar. Basically, when you've got good distribution on, particularly good suits and singletons and things like that, the losing trick count is great, so trust it. Okay. However, don't forget that although the losing trick count might suggest a slam, So it will tell you if you have the potential for 12 tricks, but it can't tell you if you'll be able to make them. So for example, it doesn't know that you have 2 doubletons in diamonds in both hands. You might have ace, king, queen, jack, ace, king, queen, jack, ace, king, queen, jack, and the other 3 suits between you. That's 12 tricks. But of course, if you've both got a doubleton diamond, they can take the first 2 tricks. So it can tell you about the hand's potentials for slam. And it's good at that actually, but it can't. You've got to do the cue bidding or the black bidding to actually get yourselves to a slam. There are certain necessary adjustments for the losing trick count, rather like there are certain necessary adjustments for the point count system, and so we'll have a look at some of those over the whole month, and you'll see those, of course, in the big seminar. Of course. Rather like when we're in the middle in the point count system, what do you do with 10 points opposite a 1 no trump? Well, usually you pass, but if you think it's a good 10, you might go, or with 12 points, what do you do? Do you go for game? Do you invite? So you have to decide whether it's good or bad. You have exactly the same in the losing trick count. What do you do with half a loser? Of course, you use judgment, and that's what we're on about today. And of course, we won't talk about this today, of course, but it comes up a lot, and that's using the losing trick count in other situations, when there's a 2-level response, when you double a weak 2 or something like that. Can you use the losing trick count? Well, the answer generally is yes, but not quite as accurately. What it's going to do is give you an assessment of the strength of your hand. It is good at doing that if you've got a distributional hand. Okay, so there are some important changes. We're going to talk about the idea of distributional hands as against balanced hands. So as I say, the losing trick count is brilliant with distributional hands, but do understand that it'll tend to have a depressing view of balanced hands. So you've got to be a little bit careful there. Understand that the losing trick count will probably devalue a 4-3-3-3 hand, which, yes, you're quite right, I want it to do, but it does it over the top. So of course, as you know, I like to take a whole point off if I'm 4-3-3-3. Well, the losing trick count is a lot more aggressive in its downgrade than that, as we'll see. Aces are better than kings. I know that sounds obvious, but it's quite important, because if you use the losing trick blindly without looking at your hand and you've got 4 kings in it, well, that is the same. It's going to give you the same answer as if the hand has 4 aces, and we know jolly well that that's not the case. So as long as you've got a balance between aces, kings and queens, the losing trick count is perfectly accurate. Just be aware that if you have lots of aces, be happy, lots of kings, perhaps less so. I've mentioned this a number of times, but it is an important aspect. The losing trick count cannot tell the difference between 2 doubletons and a 3 and a 1. Really important. I think we all know that a singleton is a good thing, and the doubleton therefore is something to be wary of. Sorry, just in case you don't understand the term doubleton, it means you've got 2 doubletons in your hand. Okay, and we'll look at jacks and tens, of course, add-ons. These are the things that come up in the big seminar. What I'm going to do today is look at a little aspect of these. Okay, extra trumps is a classic. 10-card trump fit, I think we all know you can do roughing galore. Okay, five spades in both hands. We love those hands. Of course, you've got to tell the losing trick count that. Okay, the losing trick count will often not know that. I mean, if you could have a 10-card fit and an 8-card fit. Losing trick count will assess generally your hand for the 8-card fit. So the more trumps you've got to get a little bit more excited. Okay, which is the same if if you're using the point count system. If you know you've got a 10-card fit, you're going to be more excited about the hand. Okay. And don't forget, of course, and this is true of any kind of evaluation, if you have a high card in your partner's suit, you should be very excited about it. And of course, that definitely includes the Queen Doubleton, okay, which tends to be treated particularly badly by the losing trick count, but we need to make sure it's not if it's partner's suit. So let's look at some ideas. Here's your first one. Now, the beauty of the weak no trump system is that all of our weak bids go through the weak no trump. So actually the losing trick count works quite well for us, because pretty much every normal opening bid will be 7 losers or better. and that makes the losing trick count work well. What you do need to understand is if you play a strong no trump, you're going to struggle a little bit with the losing trick count because, for example, this hand here, if you played a strong no trump, you'd open that one club. Your partner, let's say, responds one spade. You will bid two spades. And your partner's going to place you with 7 losers. Can you see the problem? And he's going to get a little too excited. Whereas in the weak no trump system, all of our weak opening bids go through one no trump. And so the most important thing is to remember that they can be weak. So when your partner opens a weak no trump and you find a fit, bear in mind 7 losers might not be enough for game. Now, to be fair, the losing trick count is undervaluing this hand. It's probably between 8 and 9 losers, okay? But it's just warning you that you've got a weak hand. And obviously, as some of you know, I might choose to pass this hand if I'm vulnerable, because with 4-3-3-3, I downgrade it. If I'm non-vulnerable, so vulnerable I might pass, non-vulnerable I'll often just bid one no trump to get in the way. So here we go, let's just remind ourselves, and one no trump from partner. You bid an obvious stamen here, and partner bids 2 spades. You've got 12 points, and obviously it's very tempting just to blast out game, but we've seen the kind of hand partner can have. And what you're best off saying here is, partner, we've got a spade fit. If you've got any kind of decent one no trump opening, let's play in 4 spades. But if you've got a pile of rubbish, I tell you what, we'll settle for 3. So you invite your partner with 7 losers. Very tempting just to go straight to game thinking, wow, come on partner. But of course your partner can have that kind of hand. So I've given him 13 here, but again, the 4-3-3-3 shape suggests he should just pass 3 spades. I mean, you've got chances of making it, of course. North has the ace of clubs and spades break evenly and those kind of things. You're likely to make, actually, but more than half the time you're going to be going down here. Okay, so clearly West knows how weak his hand is. Again, here, this is an 8.5 loser hand. So when does the opener bidding go 4 spades? Well, with between 7 and 8 losers, probably 7.5 losers, you'd go for game there. To be honest, all you need is maybe a shortage somewhere, to be honest. I mean, here it's not particularly valuable, but maybe a doubleton club makes it feel a bit better. But the point is that to remember that a weak no trump is weak. Okay, and so when you find a fit, don't get too excited as the responding hand. And another thing to remember is that it's just not designed. The losing trick count is a great system for distributional hands. It really is, but it's not as good as at assessing, and it's depressed about them. So here you've got a 19 count with the West hand. The losing trick count is telling you it's only 6 losers. The point is, and it's not the most wonderful hand, a 19-point hand, when it's flat like this, but clearly it's the sheer weight of high cards that helps you out. So you'd open 1 spade here, planning to jump rebid in no trumps. Partner bids 2 spades with his 9 loser hand. Got 5 spades, but I think it's 2 spades is a good descriptive bid. If you counted losers, you'd think, is it worth really trying for game? But the key here is, really, with your weight of points, it's worth just bidding 3 no trumps as a descriptive bid. Okay, don't get me wrong, 3 no trumps won't end the auction necessarily. Your partner's usually going to bid 4 spades, but you're making a descriptive bid. Partner, I have 19 points in a balanced hand. What do you think? Here with 5 spades, I'd expect your partner just to bid 4 spades. And the weight of points is what brings the game home. You're likely to lose, obviously, a heart, a diamond, and a club, but that's comfortable. Okay, clearly if you don't want to be in 3 no trumps, and East knows that, Notice East could have raised with, I mean, some of you will raise with 3 card support, so over 3 no trumps. If East had just 3 card support, he may well pass. Here, of course, with 5 spades, he just bids 4 spades. In 3 no trumps, they knock out the ace of hearts, and you wouldn't be able to make that. You just have 8 tricks off the top. So you're likely to lose the ace of diamonds and could well lose 4 hearts alongside. Okay. With good distribution it works, and I mean this is the classic hand. You'll have seen this in the basic losing trick count. This is a classic hand where it goes 1 club, 1 spade, and when you look at the West hand using normal evaluation, you'll think, well, 12 points out of singleton, 15, something like that, I'll jump to 3 spades, and then East looking at just 7 points would pass. However, the losing trick count gives a great assessment. It assesses the West hand as 5 losers. And it's the power of the suits. It's a wonderful club suit and a wonderful spade suit. So trust it. When you've got good distribution, go for it. And 5 losers, well, with 7 you bid 2, with 6 you bid 3, with 5 you do indeed jump to 4. And of course, what the losing trick count is assessing is that you'll be able to establish that club suit because you've got a big fit. You make your spades and you make your clubs. So 1 club ruff may well establish that suit. And of course, that's what the losing trick count suggests. The 7, the 6 and the 5 are winners. Okay. So what adjustments do we talk about during the big seminar? Well, of course, I love aces and I want you to love aces, and the losing trick count cannot differentiate between the two. So with no aces, you really do have to downgrade. With all of the aces, it's really important to upgrade by a full loser. And there's a good reason for that, is because your partner will be downgrading, because if you've got all 4 aces, he'll have none. And with no aces, it's just a half loser. You don't have to be too accurate. In many ways, I don't mind if you just say to yourself, well, I'll just downgrade it a little. But with 4 aces, you do need to get excited, because the losing trick count just will not be able to assess that. And the same with the point count system. If you've got all 4 aces, it's not really 16 points. It's probably closer to at least 16 and a half, if not 17. Okay, because remember, if you've got all 4 aces, even using the point count system, your partner has that disease, the acelessness disease, and so your partner will be downgrading. And so when I say upgrade by a full point, I'm doing that because your partner's probably taking off half a point, and it's the same with the losing trick count. If you have no aces nor kings, well, then actually you take off a full loser, because the losing trick count will not be, I mean, obviously often you're not going to be bidding at all, but that's another matter. Okay. With 3 aces, you upgrade by half a loser, up and down as it were. But with all 4, it's a whole loser. So don't forget, you're taking a loser off when you're upgrading. And that's important. Like, obviously, it doesn't happen that often that you have all 4 aces, but it's important to understand that your hand is better than you think when you have them all. Okay. And as I say, when you upgrade for your all 4 aces, your partner should be downgrading. Okay, so it's important to get that balance. So this is a hand which I like to put in when I do the basic losing trick count, just to exaggerate things. If you use the basic losing trick count, it's a very simple auction. It goes 1 spade, 3 spades, 4 spades. And the losing trick count says you've got 6 losers opposite 8 losers. That's nice and easy. We're in 4 spades, but we're losing the first 4 aces, as well as possibly a couple of hearts and a couple of clubs in the mix. So how should it go? Well, you open a spade with the West hand, and East has a double doubleton, has no aces and no kings, and all of that would add up to this being a pretty basic 9 losers, probably a bad 9 losers at that. So it is just a raise to 2 spades, isn't it? Okay, no aces nor kings, 9 losers, and therefore just 2 spades. And the West hand, yes, your first count is 6 losers, but acelessness should be a worry to you, and of course a double doubleton again. And so passing 2 spades is the right bid. Okay, you'd probably evaluate it as 6.5 losers, which suggests maybe a bidding halfway to 3 spades, but with the double doubleton, you'd probably settle for passing. And as you can see, you could actually go off in 2 spades. If North has both aces in hearts and clubs, you could lose 2 hearts, 2 clubs, a diamond and a spade. But do not fear. if you did go down in 2 spades, your opponents would be able to make a lot of tricks in hearts or clubs. So clearly 2 spades is the right place to be. Okay, well, let's see where we're going next. We are looking at this hand. Let's respond to 1 spade. Let's respond to 1 spade with this one. So, again, you've got a basic losing trick element. First, the very, very basic, on the very first 3 rules you get given would be 7 losers. But that queen by itself in clubs would make it 7.5. Okay, and of course, the acelessness of the hand. Really important that. Okay, so you might start closer to 7 losers, but you should very much have only 8 losers when you get to the end. Much easier with the point count system this time. 8 high card points plus a singleton gets you to 11 points. And so that, of course, is a raise just to 3 spades. So 7.5 losers, but it's aceless. So we would just bid 3 spades. Okay, as I say, remember, queen by itself in a suit counts as half. So in clubs, there are 2.5 losers there. Okay. So those are the kind of hands, I must admit, I see a lot of people using the losing trick count get wrong. Okay. I think even if you throw the jack of clubs in there, you should just be bidding 3 spades. Okay, it's closer there. It's closer, but it's the acelessness that would worry me here. Okay, you open a spade with this and partner bids 2 spades. And it's a funny thing really, because quite often I'll get people saying, oh, well, I just had aces. Aces and spaces. Have you heard of that expression? Well, yes, the spaces are not wonderful in this hand, but the aces are. We love aces. They give you potential. Okay, they give you potential and control of a hand. If it's a king, it's a half chance maybe, and they can kill that king with their ace and suddenly they run the suit. If you've got the ace, you can tuck, you can control. Partner's got a singleton, an ace is wonderful. If you've got a king opposite a singleton, clearly not. So you do need to upgrade, and once again, also don't forget your partner will be downgrading. So what have you got here? You have 6 losers is your first count, but there are 2 big important aspects about your hand. You have extra trumps. A lot of the time your partner's got 4 card support, which means you've got a 10 card fit, which makes a lot of difference. Add to that all of your aces. The only bad side of this hand is the double doubleton. That is the only vaguely bad side. For me, this is much closer to 5 losers than 6 losers, and therefore I would be jumping straight to game. Okay, so going through that again, 6 losers is your first count. You are upgrading because you have all of the aces and because you've got 6 trumps, and that should really push you towards a comfortable 4 spade bid. Okay, let's see what partner's got. Well, I've given partner a really miserable hand. I think 2 spades is right. Don't downgrade too far. So although there are 9 losers and you're aceless, I think you've got an absolute right to respond here. So I would say it's a 9.5 loser hand, but clearly you feel you've got to bid 2 spades to describe your hand to your partner. And it is West who's got to bid 4 spades, because if West invites to 4 spades, believe you me, East will be passing like a flash. And what's interesting, when you have the big fit in spades, of course, as long as they break 2-1, you've just got 1 loser, haven't you? Okay, if they do break 3-0, that's unfortunate, and you're going to go down probably, unless you get a bit of luck in hearts. You've still got chances though. If hearts break 3-3, you'll still make. But most of the time, you're just going to lose 1 spade, 1 diamond and 1 club. And that's, of course, because of the aces. As soon as I change one of the aces into a king, then you've only got a half chance. Can you see that? So if you make the ace of clubs the king of clubs, you could lose 2 club tricks. If you make the ace of diamonds king of diamonds, if you make them both a king, you could actually only make 2 spades. So it's all about those aces. Okay. Let's have a look at this one. You open one club. Partner bids a spade. So it goes one club, one spade. John's asking about losing trick count on fast arrival. I think you may be asking about the responding to a one spade bid. Should you jump straight to four spades? Essentially, the losing trick count is a good definer of when you should jump to four spades. If you've got a 7 loser hand opposite an opening bid in a major and a hand that is fewer than 11 points, then you can jump to four spades. That's the kind of fast arrival bid. With a hand that is more than 10 high card points, generally you're going to want to show a bit more strength in a different way, either by using your Jacoby or by delayed game raising. Okay, but the losing trick count is great at assessing when it's a good idea to go straight to game. So a club, a spade, what are you bidding? Well, you're just going to bid a no trump, of course. You're flat, so you've got 16 points. You should be thinking it's more than 16, but one no trump for me is 15 to 17. That's fine. Oh, partner bids 2 spades. What are you thinking now? That's tricky, isn't it? I mean, it's an 8 loser hand, is what the losing trick count is saying, so that's depressing. But the losing trick count is massively undervaluing that hand. That's what's so difficult. So what's partner got? First of all, partner's got 6 spades. That's important. Partner does not bid 2 spades here unless he's got 6. So let's give him king, queen to 6 spades and nothing else. Well, we've got a 9 tricks. That's not enough. But you'd feel that his range here is, if he's got 6 spades or 7 spades to the jack and a king outside, I think there's got to be chances of making game here. I would have thought most of the time you are going to make 3 spades, and I'd be very encouraged with this hand, but again, because of the aces. So I would be inclined to invite game with this hand and bid 3 spades. I mean, if partner's got king, queen to 6 spades, remember he's got to have 6. He shouldn't have 5 in this auction. I think he's going to have the chance. If he's got one other high card, surely we've got a good chance here. So king, queen to 6 and a queen somewhere, you've probably got a 50-50 chance of game. I mean, let's see what he's got. But I'm going to bid 3 spades, I think, to invite. Let's see what he's got. Would he accept? I think he should probably. Yeah, I think he should accept the game. Try it's that singleton, and he's got the 6 points and the 6 and the jack 10-9. It's quite a difficult one to get to game on, isn't it? I think the only way you can get to game is with you upgrading for your aces. Remember, you've got a 9 card fit as well. That's subtle, but you've got a bigger fit than the losing trick count's going to assume. And so again here, if you had ace doubleton spade here, okay, and moved that 7 of spades somewhere else, then you'd pass 2 spades. It's not a big enough fit. But I think the 4 aces and the 9 card spade fit should encourage you to invite here. This is a game that a lot of people will miss. So it looks likely that you're going to make 5 top tricks and 5 trump tricks here. Okay. And I think your partner over 3 spades should bid 4. Remember, it's a 9. There's 9 trumps as well, though, Alan. It's a subtle one, isn't it? You've got all 4 aces and you've got 9 trumps. And you do have to remember that the losing trick count is terrible at assessing your balanced hands. Okay, and that's the problem. So I know I don't like this, but I've downgraded for the 4-3-3-3, but I upgrade for the 4 aces. And in the fact, again, just to iterate, this should be a 9 card spade fit. With a 9 card spade fit, that should, but it's not easy. is not easy, but you can see that. I mean, clearly as soon as dummy comes down, you think, yep, glad we're in 4 spades. And yet your partner's sitting just with 6 points here. So, you know, with 6 or 7 points, a lot of the time, I think you'd want to try for game here. Bear in mind, I guess, I mean, even if partner only had king, queen, jack to 6 spades and nothing else, you know, you've got the chance on this particular hand that the diamonds might break 3-3, so you'd still have a chance. But whether partner would go for game is another matter. I think here with jack 10, 9 to 6, a singleton, I don't know, he might choose to pass 3 spades. That would be up to you, wouldn't it? So I think it's tough, really tough. But the only way you're ever going to get anywhere near game is the hand with the aces upgrading their hand. So I do want you to remember that, particularly with all 4 aces. One, your partner's going to be unhappy about his hand because it's aceless, so you've got to upgrade it. So I think the losing trick count makes this hand really difficult for you. Okay, for the most part, trust the losing trick count with distributional hands, but be a little bit wary of it when you are very balanced, because it is undervaluing your hand. There's no doubt that if you even just thinking about your hand, you can't imagine defining a hand with 16 high card points as an 8 loser hand. It surely doesn't make much sense. So for me, I want you to say to yourself, well, this hand is surely a reasonable opening hand, not a weak opening hand, but a reasonable opening hand, and therefore you should be thinking of it closer to 6 losers perhaps than 8. Okay. All right, so that is our little introduction to the more advanced losing trick count. It's hard, isn't it? But what you've got to remember to yourself is the losing trick count is really good at getting us to some good games. And with distributional hands, it is going to be a great help to you. It really will be a great help to you. Be wary of those balanced hands, because there's no doubt that it doesn't make it so easy. So maybe, well, remember, you've always got the point count as well. I don't really want the point. If you've got distributional hands and good suits, trust the losing trick count. So don't go, oh no, but the point count says this. It's when you're a bit more hazy, maybe your suits are a bit more poor quality, or as I say, you're very balanced. That's when I want you to use your general judgment. Okay, so we will see where our journey in the losing trick count takes us. Okay, let's look at that 5-level decision, shall we? So let's remind ourselves of what happened. South opened a gambling 3 no trumps, which shows 7 solid in a suit. And not much outside. Your partner's doubled. What do we think that means? Well, I would suggest that partner's got a decent hand of some sort. North has bid 5 clubs. To me, that looks like a sacrifice. It looks like North knows what South's hand is. So over the double, we'd regard that as a preemptive bid. Remember, if they just... assuming South has got ace, king, queen to 7, ace, queen, jack to 7 clubs, they've got 7 tricks already. So all North has to do is make 1 more trick, and 5 clubs doubled is a profit against a game made our way. Can you see that? Isn't that amazing? So 5 clubs doubled minus 3 and making 8 tricks is just 500 instead of 620 for us. So are we going to bid? I think the temptation for me is to bid here. I've got 2 aces, I've got 5 hearts, and I think because North could have just bid 4 clubs, or even for that matter just passed. No, probably 4 clubs to take out. So I think he's making a genuine supporting bid there. I would expect him to have at least 2 clubs. He might just have 1, but most of the time it's not going to surprise me if North has a doubleton club. I've got 3, South has got 7. That leaves our partner with just 1. So I think we've got potential here, surely, to make a game contract. And I'm going to go for that game contract. So I am going to bid 5 hearts in. Okay, let's have a look at the hand and see what transpires. Let's have a look. So South has exactly what we expected. A 3-no trump opening. A lovely 3-no trump opening at that. Double from West, that completely makes sense. Could West have bid 4 spades? I guess he's got support for every suit, so I think double is absolutely fine, actually. They're pretty good spades, so 4 spades is an option. Yeah, no, 4 spades is an option. Because I guess what you could say, so I left my phone on because I had an alarm this morning, quite an early one. I think 4 spades is an option because, you know, if you double and it turns out North's got the ace of diamonds and the ace of spades, and not much else, then 3-no trumps doubled will get left in, possibly. And of course they'll make it because they'll make 7 clubs, the ace of diamonds and the ace of spades. So with the East Town, for me, double, I don't know what double means, John. I don't think double's giving you a choice. I think if you double 5 clubs, so someone suggesting a double, for me double is just saying I want to play in 5 clubs doubled. For me that's very simple. You know, I mean, unless you have an agreement with your partner, for me, double is showing a strongish hand. The double over 5 clubs for me would be I want to play in 5 clubs doubled, which here clearly isn't what you want to be in. They are, I mean, it might work out. You might get it fall off. Yeah, you might be able to get it fall off, so it might work out actually, the double. But I have to say I would bid 5 hearts here. On the layout you'll actually make 6, but I'm not sure West shouldn't be bidding 4 spades with this hand. That's my thinking. So we'll go 3-no trumps, 4 spades, 5 clubs, and probably 5 spades. Yeah, I agree, Shirley. North should. I mean, to be fair, North might be playing 5 clubs as pass or correct. So if North could have had 6 diamonds to the 10 here, or etc., and bid 5 clubs in this auction, thinking, well, I tell you what, I don't mind playing in clubs or diamonds. So for me, the 5 clubs is pass or correct. But most of the time, North is sort of, in inverted commas, knowing his partner's got clubs. But you could, in theory, have a hand where you're bidding 5 clubs to say, partner, look, I want to play in 5 of the minor. It can't be a natural bid. So South will, I guess, imagine North's diamonds were 3 to the 5 and his clubs were double to 9 here. So imagine you swap the diamonds and spades around here. I think it's reasonable for North to jump to 5 clubs, and then partner will surely correct to diamonds. So I think it's okay here. But actually, if you get the defence right, John's double may well work out well here, because you'd lead the ace of hearts. Well, no, 5 clubs is by North. You'll probably, I mean, maybe a club is the right lead, and if you lead a club, I think you might get it fall off. I think they might just make 7 tricks. So that's interesting, isn't it? Double and lead a club, and you might get your 800 points. I'm the one who bid 5 clubs. I will admit that the computer didn't. It only wanted to bid 4, so maybe the computer was being wise. The reason I like 5 clubs on this is because it makes us have a difficult decision. But I think I'm bidding 5 hearts here, and I don't think West will bid on. 5 hearts is a relatively comfortable make. They'll lead the ace and king of clubs, which you rough, and it turns out then your ace and king would bring down the jack, which would allow you to make the rest of the tricks, and make 12 tricks. So you would make 680 on this. But as I say, if you lead a double and lead a trump, I'm not sure that North is going to be able to make another trick. Unless double dummy you can duck a diamond, I suppose. No, they can still cross over to the ace and spades and play another trump. So yeah, there you go. So it just shows there's more than one way to skin a cat. Is that the expression I'm looking for? I think it might be. Anyway, I should get off because I need to rest. So let's get these the bidding quiz up. So here's your bidding quiz for the week. 1 heart, double 4 hearts. 1 heart, double 4 hearts. So 1 heart on your left, double from your partner, 4 hearts from self. What do you think? That looks like as tricky as the 5-level decisions, that one, I think. So your bidding quiz, don't forget you get the answer on the website as usual, but remember 1 heart, double 4 hearts, and it's your bid. So have a think about that one. And we will see you hopefully throughout the week. I've got the teams on Wednesday, and we are starting a new topic on the Friday. Don't forget, if you're not with us, do come and join us. Come and go to the website and join us. You can, if you've never been with us before, you can get a week or 2 free, just to see what you have been missing. Thanks for your company, and see you again soon.